artist from Benin, as we just see them getting their one rider dropped. It was lovely to meet him. Romuald Hazumi, who's one of the most famous artists to come out of that country, and he is well known for La Bouche de Roi, which is a reworking of the slave ship Brooks. He's well known for that particular art, and he uses recycled materials to make all his art, and he's exhibited all over the world. I won't tell you, but he was just an interesting person to meet, and he's there and he's mad about cycling. He's one of the best known artists in not just in Africa. He exhibits in New York and UK and places like that, but he loves cycling.
It is quite I think when you come to events like this where you think it's just going to be cycling related people, and then somebody famous from somewhere else just pops up because they have a passion for cycling. I mean, you don't know, they might be an actor or something like that, but they ride their bike every day and they thought they'd love to go and watch the World Championships in Rwanda. So yeah, it is interesting, the people that you meet at the World Championships.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around, definitely, who've come to Rwanda. They want the experience. We are waiting for our first riders to reach intermediate time splits. We haven't quite got there yet. Rwanda are very well drilled as a squad.
Yeah, they do look good. They have looked good right from the start. They've looked particularly good. So I think they're lining up here for UCI points, which is so important to their nation to have. And some teams are lining up here hoping for a medal or a gold medal. Rwanda's main ambition is just to get the best position possible for the most amount of UCI points, which will give them a qualification for more riders at the next World Championships, for example. So for Rwanda, it's about putting in their best performance, the experience, doing their nation proud on home soil, and also those vital UCI points that are up for grabs.
Yeah, I know a lot of people wonder sometimes when we get to the road races at the weekend why the Netherlands have 8 riders, so to speak, and then Rwanda have 1 or 2. And you've just kind of outlined why.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that the Netherlands, who have won twice this discipline, the team time trial, are not competing today.
Yeah, true.
You know, if they did, they'd definitely be a medal chance or a gold medal winning chance, but they're definitely focusing on their road races and individual events and not participating in this event, and obviously not that interested in the UCI points they could gain from getting a medal here. So for Rwanda, they're looking, I think, one of the most well-drilled teams we've seen so far off the start ramp.
Yeah, they look very, very good indeed. This is our final team in this block. This is the team of China: Li Yu, Lu Jiankun and Su Haiyu. This team is about to get going. Be interesting to see how they do. Chinese cycling growing all the time. One of the team here, a member of the Astana squad, as he gets going, and now getting more and more involved in world cycling as well, because they've got, of course, this massive sponsorship of the Astana team riding on those X-Lab bikes, and actually the Astana team is part-owned now by China. And you've been there quite a lot. Yeah,
it's a very interesting move, but I do think that we will see a lot more riders from China in the peloton in the future, and that they have exceptional talent there. They have exceptional funding for cycling, and it's like this world of a tiny little program going on that nobody really knows about, but they've got these athletes that are capable of so much that we haven't seen yet, and they're developing them. So it's I think, yeah, we will see the peloton have a lot more Chinese riders, and really competitive as well, because they're already at a level that I think would really surprise people.
Benin have just gone through the first split. 16 minutes 42.44 for the split. The crowd today is bigger.
Yeah, I mean, the people have been out since, I think, 8, 9 o'clock this morning. They've just been banging on the barricades, cheering all the riders on the route on the course. And I mean, the locals, they're so into that, passionate about this event and cycling.
When you're, if you put the television on here, it's on all the time.
Yeah, it's just amazing how cycling, I guess it's just one of their, I wouldn't say that they're mainstream sports, but it is.
It's becoming that way.
It's becoming that way, yeah.
Here's our next squad we've been looking at, the Rwandan team. I'm glad they're back in these jerseys, because when we were out on the course earlier on today, the Rwandan team was wearing a completely different jersey. And I thought, OK, we're now going to have to spot a different jersey in the peloton over the road races. But thankfully, they've gone back to their normal kit, because the other jersey was lovely, but would have been harder to spot. Oh, Uganda have flown up this climb. They've gone through the fastest time, 14 minutes 14:01 for Uganda. The average speed there was pretty high.
Yeah, 37.5 kilometres per hour for the lap of the men from Uganda. So, well, not for the lap, sorry, the first split there at 8.9 kilometres. They do look real good, don't they?
But that's a real drag, isn't it, up to there? So 37k an hour is rapid, because they're now going to start to fly downhill, and they'll really pick up the tempo all the way back to Kigali now. So they're looking good, nice and relaxed. 46k an hour for this squad. This Rwanda team, you can see the way they're riding. It's quite an unusual formation. That middle rider is always sitting to the right-hand side, and the other rider is sitting to the left-hand side at the back. Yeah,
I think when we get to the last wave of riders and the more experienced riders, we won't see that. We'll see them in a dead straight line. But if you're a little bit nervous about clipping the wheel, getting a little bit too close, they sit a little bit to the side, which gives them an aerodynamic disadvantage, of course, but safety first.
This is the Kigali Genocide Memorial. We were going to try and go here this morning, but the whole training situation meant that we didn't, because there was so much going on around the hotel. But also, you had to get a motorbike taxi to get there.
Yeah, the closed roads have caused a little bit of chaos. I mean, the locals are happy with it. They know their way around and all that kind of thing, but it is difficult. There's just so many people and so many things going on in different areas. You've got the fan zone there, and you've got the concert going on over there, and the VIP area, and there's so many things going on all the time. So, yeah, sometimes to get to one place that's very close can take a very long time. Yeah,
and I don't fancy 8 kilometres on a motorbike taxi, because everyone was telling me it was really safe. And I'm sure it is, but I'm not so sure that I want to be on the back of one. As the team go down the other side of the road, just going past us on the right-hand side as we were looking. The Rwandan team still working well. The time to beat is obviously that team of Uganda, 14 minutes and 14. So many of the kids are out as well today to cheer everybody on. They don't stand by the barriers, do they? Because I don't think they're allowed to stand by the barriers. So they cheer on from sort of a distance, as we just see Rwanda about to lose a rider.
Yeah, that's not good for Rwanda, because they were the most well-drilled team when they went off the start line, but now they're down to 2, and you can see the second rider struggling as well, just with balance and coordination, which comes down to fatigue. That they may have just all gone out a little bit too hard, but they have to be careful now. It's going to be a real hard second part of the race, but they haven't even gone through the first time check yet. But
they could have done with keeping their riders together for this descent. Even here, though, the Benin team is struggling a little bit on this descent to keep 2 riders together, which is what you have to do. They're not as you mentioned, you'll see the later teams right in on the wheel. No gaps between them. They'll do everything they can to stay as close as possible. Here's the arrival of our next team at the intermediate. This is Ethiopia. They're going well, actually. The team of Uganda was 14-14, and Ethiopia go into the leads.
Very interesting. So they may not look very well drilled in terms of aerodynamic position and equipment and things like that, but they've got the power. They've got the brute power, should I say, and they are absolutely flying. So they've gone through with the fastest time in front of Uganda and Benin, and their average speed at the first time check at 8.9 kilometres was 38.2 kilometres per hour.
That's pretty rapid, isn't it?
Significantly faster than Uganda.
The Benin team, the women, are getting ready. Their last warm-ups. They've got to be on the stage, ready for the end of this time trial of the rest of their team. Those last moments of just getting the F out. What sort of warm-up will these teams be doing here? How long?
Well, it's interesting with the warm-up here at this particular World Championships because you're at altitude and you do have that heat. It's not extremely hot, but it's a different type of heat. And as we've both experienced, Anthony, it's also quite a dusty air, so it's very hard to breathe. So with the warm-up, you want to be careful that you don't overdo it. So it's not every event is different, but it's not just a normal, Tour de France, Giro d'Italia or a classics race warm-up. It's really got to be specific to your body and what you're capable of and your adaptation to this environment.
It's funny, when you talk to the riders, and it doesn't matter whether they're male or female, all of them have said that it's not the legs, it's the lungs that are hurting.
Yes, that's right. They're at altitude. They've got a little bit of that, dusty air, and it's just burning. I've felt it myself this morning, actually, out on the course. It's, it is very difficult to get the air in. So I think the altitude and air has been very underestimated by the riders, and a lot of riders are really struggling.
The Chinese team, we go back here to Benin. This is the intermediate split number 2. Benin go through in 24 minutes 10.65. Since they lost their rider, they look like they're now much more cohesive as a unit, spinning along well, and it looks like they're starting to produce some good speed on the way back down to Kigali. Still the fastest team at the first intermediate split is Ethiopia. It's fun here. You can see the riders as one team goes up, the next team comes down the other side. They're able to see them on the other side of the road and keep an eye on everything that's going on. Little conversation here between the Rwandan squad, obviously just trying to keep each other together. Is there much talking in a team time trial, or is it not really possible?
I think when we go off for the favourites in the last wave of riders, we won't see any communication between the riders unless it's a body communication, so body language communication. However, it's really important. Obviously, we have a rider here from Rwanda really struggling, which means the rider on front needs to be aware. He needs to look around, he needs to know and keep him with him, because the time is taken off the second rider that crosses the line, and then their 3 women will go out for the last part of the relay.
He's really hurting right now, making his way towards the top. Just got to hang on for as long as possible. These long drags really do burn. I fear for this rider when we get to the cobbles. This is going to hurt, and hurt a lot.
Yeah. Hurting already before the first time check at the top, or near the top.
This is the Rwandan team then, coming up to the first intermediate split. Let's see how they do. They're pretty close to it. They're just outside the time of Ethiopia. That's a good performance, isn't it? 4 seconds down, so they're in the ballpark.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit motivating for them. If they could cross the line and get themselves into a hot seat, that would be a wonderful experience for Rwanda. But as you say, 4.5 seconds down at the first time check. It's not a lot.
Now they start the descent. There's a little bit of water on this lens. I hope there's no rain out there, because if it rains on these roads, can you imagine what it's going to be like?
I wouldn't want to be having my bike on an angle on those white lines, I can tell you that. After this morning, it was completely dry, no wind, super fast descents, and super, super dangerous or technical corners. So if it rains, yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Benin onto the cobbles for the first time.
Benin being our first team to start today. They're down to 2 riders.
Does it make a difference when you're going uphill like this to try and share the pace making, or is it better for one rider to do the majority of the pace making?
I think it depends on the individual rider, but with this particular team, there'll be one rider that climbs stronger than the other and says, okay, I'll take the lead for the climbs, and it's just motivating to have a wheel to chase rather than just trying to struggle through a really hard cobbled climb without anyone in front of you. So looks like he's got a little bit of power now and says, hey, I can, This is deceiving here because you come around this corner to the right and it just keeps going up. You think you're at the top and then you think that's the top, but it goes left again and it still keeps going up. It's a really, really tough climb.
And when you were out this morning, did you notice the majority of riders sitting in the saddle or getting out the saddle? How were they mainly riding it? As we see this rider really starting to suffer. A little bit of a shout to remind his teammates.
Yeah, big trouble there. And he did yell out, he did call out and say, yep, wait up. So he's giving him the attention. We both need to get across that finish line so we can send our 3 women off for the final lap.
2 kilometres of pace. Yes, were they sitting in the saddle or were they getting out of the saddle?
Yes, Anthony, definitely sitting in the saddle. Even the riders that were flying past at a super high pace, doing a really hard effort on the cobbles, they're all sitting in the saddle. So obviously they want to keep traction, keep some weight in the saddle and keep as much traction and surface area of the tyre on the cobbles so they can propel themselves forward. So a lot of the riders, I didn't see anyone out of the saddle, to be honest, on the cobble section.
Okay. And big wide tyres on most bikes?
Yeah. Newish, should I say, trend to cycling. Yeah, the more surface area of the tyre that makes contact with the road, the more you can propel yourself forward, obviously, with the power. So, yeah, as I said, it'll just be a really, really tricky thing for the athletes and their mechanics to decide what tyre pressures they run on a course that has smooth roads, super smooth roads, and then a very, very hard cobbled climb.
They seem to have got themselves together here. They've not got long to go. They're inside the final 2 kilometres to set the standard for everyone else to beat. Here's the People's Republic of China coming up to that first split. This looks like a fast performance by these riders. Ethiopia top of the leaderboard, 13:58.48. But the Chinese squads are closing in now. It's not going to be a massive beating, but it's 21 seconds already for the Chinese squads.
I think at the half-time check in this wave of riders, that's quite a significant 21 seconds for the Chinese. I think it's impressive but unexpected. Not for me. As I said before, I'm aware of this little secret hub of developing cyclists that they have there in China, and there's a lot of talent there, and I think a lot of effort's gone into preparation for this team time trial to gain them UCI points so they can represent more people at the World Championships.
Do they have closed road circuits and things that are secretly built, or is it?
They have a couple, yes.
They do. A little bit like the non-secret ones in Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Well, they're not that long as they are in 80-kilometre desert cycling circuit, and very public and very used, the one in Dubai. However, this is more for a very enclosed secret circle of developing cyclists.
You're lucky to have been able to go and see that.
Yeah, so it really blew me away, actually. Just, the technology, the science, the dedication and commitment from the athletes and the level of their performance just really, really blew me away.
Wow. It's always like that for me when I go to the UAE, the way that they have all their things set up, and you're lucky enough to be there a lot and know what the advances they've made in their progression of cycling. Whoops, this is the arrival then of the next team, the team of Uganda. They're going to catch the team of Benin, coming flying their way up this hill. They look good, don't they?
They do. They went through the first time check 37 seconds behind China, who went through the fastest, but they are coming home quite strong.
They're going to catch them just before the top here. As we turn left, you get to the 1 kilometre to go point. So they're almost on the wheel now. There's the red kite, the universal symbol of cycling to say we've got 1,000 metres to go. And now this is going to be a little difficult, Rochelle, because normally you have one team sitting on the ramp getting ready to go. And right now, 2 teams are going to come in pretty much together. I don't know how they're going to deal with this and have enough space. I think they've just got about enough space for 2 teams to be alongside each other, but it's going to be very tight.
Yeah, I think they'll have to slipstream a little bit. There is enough space to be side by side, but I think they will slipstream a little bit to get through the finish line.
Here's the arrival of the 2 teams side by side. And then we've got to get the women underway alongside each other on the ramp. That's going to be a little challenge coming up now. You'll have 6 riders alongside each other on a ramp that's built, I think, for 6, is it? Just about.
Yeah, the ramp built for 6, 3 riders will be going off that ramp.
There we go.
Oh,
Look.
yes.
Wow.
They go off at the same time.
It's literally going to be 2 teams at the same time going off the ramp. Now, this is complicated.